DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, balloverseas.com, the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. Now we are on step 6 of the Overseas Basketball Blueprint process. This step is proving it, and then proving it again. Or it's both of those. When you get into the professional basketball world, as I've said many times over, and you're going to keep hearing me say this over and over again forever, is that you are in a performance-based business and a results-based business. The reason you work on your game is so you can get an opportunity. When you get that opportunity, you got to perform, and when you perform, you got to produce results. And then the sports world is very clear. The results are right up there on that scoreboard. All right, you know how sports works, right? You know it's black and white. Somebody gonna win and somebody gonna lose. So you got to produce results, help your team win, do your thing personally so that the team knows that you're good, help your teammates get better. All of those things that you know you're supposed to do as a basketball player, you got to do them in a professional basketball world, and you got to do them over and over again, because remember that even once you have a job, it's still a bunch of players gunning for your job. It's a bunch of players who would gladly take your job. There are players who would take 10% of what they're paying you and do it. There are players who would do it for free just to get their foot in the door, the same way you would be hungry enough to get your foot in the door if you were in that situation at any point in your career. So you got to keep proving it over and over again. There may be times when you're on a team, they may bring a player in to practice with your team who's at your same position, and they're an American and you're an American, and you kind of looking at them sideways like, wait a minute, what's this person doing here? Like, they think about maybe replacing me with this guy, and you might be playing for your job that day. You don't know. They might not say it. They probably won't tell you, but you might be playing for your job that day. And it might be nothing. It might be an innocent thing, but this is the way that they do. I remember I was in Germany once, and I was with this agent, and he brought me to practice with a team. They had 2 Americans. One of them was a big man, one of them was a guard. And he got me practicing with that team. And I know his aim, he never said it to me. He should have told me, because I would have approached it a little bit differently if he had. But I could tell that his aim was to have me replace that guard, because the big was one of his clients, but the guard wasn't his client. So he was trying to have 2 clients on the same team and have me take the guard spot. So he had 2 dudes signed to that same club. But it didn't work out that way, because I wasn't even trying to play that dude's position. I was playing more like a complementary position to work with both of them on the same club at the same time, all 3 of us. If he had told me, then I would have approached it a different way. But anyway, I didn't really get that hindsight until later. And as they say, hindsight is 20/20. But the whole point is this: that guard who was on the team, he might have been looking at me funny, like, yo, they bringing this dude in. Like, why they bringing him in? I'm signed. This guy signed. They only have 2 Americans. What's he going to do for us? Like, why they bringing the 3rd guy in? All 3 of us can't be on the team at the same time. So I knew what this, again, now looking back, I knew what this agent was doing. But sometimes you might be the guy who's on the team, and they bring somebody else in to practice with y'all, and you looking at them like, hold on, what's this dude here for? I remember I was playing somewhere else. I was in Montenegro, and they brought this guy in. He wasn't American. He was like, I don't know where he was from, but he wasn't from Montenegro. And he practiced with the team for like 1 day, but he was trash. He didn't do nothing in the 1 practice. There was nothing impressive about his game whatsoever. And we never saw that dude again. He practiced with us 1 time, never came back, because he didn't do anything impressive the 1 time that he was there with us. So it was kind of like, all right, that was your 1 shot, you're done. But sometimes it can happen that way, and you got to be ready to prove it every single day. Another thing is that when you're an American, every practice that I was in and every team that I was ever on, I always looked at practice kind of like a game, especially in Europe, because your team's not going to be stacked full of Americans. You're not going to have Americans all over your roster. Maybe a handful of y'all, maybe some teams. In some leagues, I saw maybe 4 or 5. In some teams, actually, I saw 6 or 7 Americans on the club, like in the 2nd and 3rd divisions. In Germany, when I first got there, I saw 6 or 7 Americans or 5 Americans on the team. Actually, that's before I got to Germany. I saw them. I would look online and see that. But if you're on a team where you're the only one, or there's only 2 of y'all, understand the microscope is on you. Everybody's noticing everything you do. They're noticing your energy. They're seeing your expressions. They're noticing your mannerisms, your emotions. All of those things they're noticing in practice. And if you're not bringing it in practice every day, people are going to start whispering, maybe this guy's not that good. Maybe we can bring in somebody else with a better attitude. Maybe we can bring in somebody else who practices a little bit harder. These are things that they're thinking about, because you as an American are probably the biggest investment that they made. Even if you're not getting paid the highest salary, they had to pay a fee just to get you into the league for a license. You're an import worker. So think about bringing an import worker into any country. You might have to pay a fee to the government just to have an import worker in your business. Remember, basketball is a business. You might have to pay a fee to the Basketball Federation. It costs money to fly you in. Your flight is not free. Your food is not free. The place that you stay that ain't free. Your internet is not free. All of those things cost money, but you don't have to pay them. The team is paying for that stuff. So all of that's part of the investment they're making in you. So they're expecting you to be at a certain level of individual, and they're never going to enumerate all of this stuff to you. You're not going to lay all this out to you, but I'm laying it out to you so that you understand when you get out there and do your thing, all right, you got to do your thing. You got to prove yourself over and over again, because you are always being watched. You're always being evaluated. And any given day, you show up the wrong way, you know what happens next. You might not have enough. You might not have a job the next day, because this ain't the kind of job where nobody wants it. Okay, so if you leave the job, there's a whole bunch of people who will gladly come and take your spot the next day. All right, this ain't the kind of job that they're struggling to find somebody to fill the spot. All right, that don't happen in the basketball world. At least not in the environment, the culture we're in now. That's not happening in the basketball world. Probably not in our lifetimes, unless somehow, some way, basketball becomes unpopular. I don't see that happening. I only see it getting more popular, which means you are in a buyer's market. Buyer's market means there are more products to buy than there are customers willing to buy. The customers are the teams that sign players. You are the product, the player. There are 1,000 products for every one customer. So the customer can be choosy as to who they buy. You understand what I'm saying? I can be choosy as to which, if I want to buy some paper towels, I can be choosy. I go into Target, there's a whole aisle of paper towels. All right, I can choose which one I want. I don't have to pick one because there's 1,000 different ones. It's the same thing when a professional team is looking for a player. It's like they in Target walking around. They can pick any one of these items in this whole aisle. They don't have to pick you. So don't think that just because you're in that you can stay in, because I can go right back to Target and buy a different paper towel tomorrow if I want to. And keep that in mind about proving it over and over again, delivering every single day. Look at your practices like they're games, because to you, they actually are. And if you haven't gotten your copy of the Overseas Basketball Blueprint, 237-page book. I made the book free so it'll make it very easy for you, because I want you to take your steps to get started in the professional basketball world if you're serious about it. I know a lot of players want to play pro. I know what it felt like for me to finally get my opportunity and get on. I wish this book was out. This is the book that I wish somebody had written for me when I was trying to get a deal. So I wrote it for you so you don't have to do that. Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. balloverseas.com. Claim your free copy of the book. All you do is cover the shipping. And while you're there, I'm going to give you an opportunity to also grab a copy of The Truth About Overseas Basketball Exposure Camps. Get this book right there on that same page. Just click the little box there. It'll tell you everything you need to know. balloverseas.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.